So we were wrong.
You mean because we picked the Chiefs to win?
I don't mind being wrong here because that was awesome.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus Podcast. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. The Bills getting the win tonight, 28-21 over the Chiefs. Buffalo now 6-2 on the season. We're going to talk about the defense, the big plays by Max Hairston, Cole Bishop, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid. But Mike, first let's say and start with where this team is at after a big win tonight.
Here's what I think. This game was about this game. This was about right now in the season. When they do play each other, which they will in the playoffs, they're different teams, different circumstances, and yes, the Bills will have to overcome losing to this team 4 times in the playoffs. The Bills needed this win for November 2nd of 2025. They needed to stay close with the Patriots. It didn't hurt that they knocked the Chiefs back down.
Yeah.
I think this was about this team right now, especially the defense, which all of a sudden looked like, with some mistakes, still look like a strength of the team, not a weakness. I thought that's what this game was about, right now, here and now.
It's been a while since we've talked about statement games. That kind of feels like a team when you're ascending to being there, and the Bills have just kind of been that good for the longest time, since 2020 and Josh. This felt like a statement. This felt like nobody really picking the Chiefs.
You're welcome. It
Or
motivated.
nobody picking the Bills in this
Yes.
spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got it right.
See, we were wrong there, too.
Exactly. So that felt like one of these moments where it's like, what does the Bills have in this spot? And they bullied the Chiefs. They played bully ball. When we were driving up here, Mike kept saying, I think there are a couple of ways that the Bills can win this game. And I was one being like, I don't really know. And this was one of those games that you talked about. Josh was really good. The offensive line dominated. They were more physical at both lines of scrimmage, and defensively, they stepped up. And I didn't know if they could do that. They showed me something tonight.
Well, Jenna, Dan's saying they didn't know they could do that. Because the truth is, they really haven't done that. You can't
Correct.
count the Jets game. The Panthers were bad. Like, they were very good in those games, but this was against a quality opponent. They hadn't shown it this year. This, I thought, top to bottom, this was their best game.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you talk about the opponent, the circumstances, all those things. But I do think the physicality was present. And you know whose game this was tonight? This was Sean McDermott's game. He gets this team to play. Go ahead and doubt them, especially in the regular season, is what happened. That defense is his defense now. It is, yes, it's he and Bobby, and he gives all credit to Bobby Babich, and I do know they work together on this. He's got them playing with a, quote, nastiness. He said you cannot play the game without that. That's the way his defense played tonight.
It wasn't just Sean. There were some people that were ready for Joe Brady to be fired. And that was a masterclass from Joe Brady. I kept thinking about the Jordan meme of I took it personally. Like that was, we had called Joe out and said he's getting too cute. Sean had had said some words about they need to get better. That was a masterclass from Joe Brady. This game felt like chess versus checkers, and the Bills were the ones playing chess. I was very impressed by the way the offense manufactured. I feel like they outcoached the Chiefs. They don't have necessarily the Jimmies and the Joes as some of the Chiefs players, but they were more physical. They were in the right spots. They out-schemed them. Impressive.
Impressive on both ends of the ball. I do want to go back to the defense, though, because we talk about that nastiness. And Sean McDermott talked about that attitude, where that's where everything starts for this team. And, we can talk about just the defense overall, but I want to start with the defensive line because it did feel like Mahomes was constantly under pressure. And we've talked so much about how the Bills have invested so much in their D-line and wanting to see the results. Tonight, you got to see the results.
Bosa was really good tonight. He made plays. A.J. Epinesa lit up Mahomes on the sidelines.
Right here.
Right over there.
Right here.
He did. Rousseau got good pressure. Javon Solomon made a few plays.
Yeah.
I liked what they did. They moved him inside on some pass rushing situations, and they chased Mahomes. And Dan, the other thing they did was They really kept him from running. He can kill you on those runs. He ran around in the pocket. He converted a 4th and 18. He's still Mahomes. Rashee Rice is a problem anytime you play this team. But honestly, 21 points they held him to, and they beat him up at times. I thought that was impressive.
Up. I'll say this. Like the little backing up. Like Mahomes went up in my book today. He took a beating. That hit that he took on second down.
That was tough.
He was rolling out, scrambling, doing his little thing. A.J. Epinesa planted him into the ground. And I'm like, he just broke him in half.
Should we tell Dan what we were saying in the press box? How some people might think I was borderline erotic. How much of a slam AJ
Just keep re-showing that play.
For Bills fans.
It went out Mahomes went to jump and throw it, and AJ caught him. And WWE pile drove him into the ground. And I'm sitting there he may be in the turf. He may be, half of his body may be in the turf. And he got up and jogged off, and I was like, whoa. And then I think 3rd and 15 he converted. But I was like, that was a tough play because they were all after him. Pat McAfee was even tweeting. They're beating up Mahomes. He is taking beating. We've seen Josh in previous games do that. The Bills' defensive line imposed their will in this game. Sean McDermott loves to see that because they were a difference. And Sean talks about it. When the pass rush and the coverage can work together, this was a Sean dream performance from the defense.
Now, something to note, Michael Hoecht had a hell of a game as well. Sean McDermott, though, saying post-game that he has torn his Achilles. He is done for the season. And, Mike, it sucks. He was having such a great – he just got back last week to the team to have a phenomenal game against the Panthers tonight, to be showing out, and then to have that happen.
You see a guy like that who had to sit out those 6 weeks, and it's on him. He had said it. It's on me. So he comes in, he wants to impress. And he came in.
He was impressed.
Like in the cartoons when they're going, and then hit the ground and take off. That's the way Hoecht came in. And he, the players around him noticed it. He played really well in Carolina. It's one thing to play well against Andy Dalton. And then he started doing it here, made a few plays, and then it's non-contact. You see him off the jump, and then the next thing you know, he knew it. I saw him in the locker room. A couple guys were coming up to him, and he was like, yep, that's what it is. It's really sad to see.
I had tweeted 2 plays before that Michael Hoecht was a beast. He was blowing up everything. For as good as Bosa and Rousseau and Epinesa were to get off the edge, he was blowing everything up, Hoecht was, in the inside. He just seemed to have this motor. Not only that, that he went to Brown in the Ivy League school, and players talked about how smart he was. He was coaching the defensive line on every snap, lining guys up, flagging things. He was that traffic cop that we've talked about what Terrell Bernard is at times. That is what he was. Heartbreaking to see a guy like that get that type of injury. And on top of it, they wanted the cart to come out because it's a torn Achilles. He couldn't walk barely off the field. And he said no to the cart because he wanted to stay on the bench to watch the rest of his game with his teammates. The character of that guy, the teammate, that's a guy that's a foxhole guy. Yeah. That's a guy that you want on the field in the trenches. And I got a shot of him because Max Hairston ran that way. And I'm shooting the bench because I figured they're all going to come that way. And he's slapping up the D-line. And he's all banging on the bench. Brutal. You wish you could turn injuries off. Yeah. In an NFL season. Deion talks about how they're 3,000% injury rate. That one really hurts.
Yeah, that certainly does. Such a great season for him. That is tough. Now, I do think the defense did a good job in this game of kind of weathering that storm. And I think we should talk about Max Hairston. What?
Yeah. No, I was
Cole.
Let's start
Cole
with Cole
too, yeah. Well, I said weathered the storm. And then that happened after, Max Hairston had the interception after. That's why I went to Max Hairston.
Oh, no, I got
hosting.
But I'm trying. But we should talk. Cole Bishop was outstanding tonight.
This is the guy that I think Brandon Beane drafted.
Yeah.
Making plays. He plays freer. I saw him tonight attacking the ball. He joked. He said he probably could have had a pick, at least on one of them. He had 4 pass breakups, smart plays, instinctive plays. Oh, yeah.
And I will say,
there's another shot. They got Mahomes and Kelsey tonight.
We have been critical of Cole Bishop on this channel.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But to see where he is at now, the confidence that he is playing with, and the plays that he is making, you see the athlete and what Brandon Beane saw in potential and what he could be.
You hope this is the game.
Yes, that unlocks.
That springboards.
Springboards.
Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports, yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah.
You speak Dan.
You
You
takes
teach
his-
me good.
I hope this is because like a little bit of the cynic in me is like, well, Keon had that in week 1, and we're like, here we go. Like Keon's gonna take off. You hope that you can stack games like this. What a big moment this was for him in this type of speed and all of the weapons that the Chiefs offense have. Really big moment in this spot to play like that.
And he showed the nastiness that I
Yeah.
think that there's been times where he's been dribbled like a basketball, where you see him
has.
and some of the angles that he's taken, he's been kind of flown off the ball. But for him to show that physicality that we talked about, laying some big hits, that I think is a big step for a young player.
What it does for this whole defense, again, we don't know how he's going to play week to week and all, but, I don't know. We do know this, that Taylor Rapp was not good enough, and he was injured, and now he's had surgery, so he's done. He's likely done. We
Yeah.
haven't said that officially. Having Poyer out there maybe helped a little bit.
I agree.
I agree.
And maybe, because Poyer knows where he's going to be. I love the fact that he's out there and Hancock is out there. Get the younger players out there. This defense got infused by the veterans who came back and the young guys. And that's what's a shame so much about Hoecht. But Cole Bishop is the present and the future in that secondary. They need him. And then you mentioned Max already. Get that kid on the field, more and more plays, and then he made a play.
You forget how young he is, but talking to him post game, when you like him talking about his first career interception being by being a throw from Patrick Mahomes, and just like the joy that he had, he reminds me of a little kid in like the best way. Like it's very pure.
He reminds me of Trey.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Early Trey.
I could see that.
He lights up a camera.
Yeah.
He loves the camera.
But not in like a
Egotistic.
ego way.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's just pure joy. Like you want to bottle up Max's enthusiasm and all of the things. And that to me is what stood out. And you talk about the eroticness of driving Patrick Mahomes in the ground. How about that for Max going step for step with
Worthy.
Xavier Worthy?
Yeah.
Like that. Play that clip over and over again and just think about this is why you drafted a guy in the second round that is pure speed.
Speaking of playing a clip, I'd like us to play a clip. I'm going to be Dan
Oh
here. Hold on
my-
a second. Let's go back to last week. Bills beat the Panthers. Jenna and I are on the field in Carolina. And this. I'm excited about the rotations on the defense. I think it's going to continue. I think it'll make Trey White a better player if he's got it. And I'm going to call a shot here. I think Max is getting a pick next week against Mahomes.
Wow.
I think Max is getting a pick. They didn't really test him that much in this game. It was a couple throws towards him, the good pressure. I'm calling it out. I think Max Hairston, the rookie, is getting a pick next week.
The funny thing is that I edit this and I may not put it in. Who knows?
No, I was.
Got you, Jenna.
Oh,
I may forget.
The game's going on, and Mike, the interception happened. Mike's like, oh, and then he goes, Jenna, look what I found, and I'm like, yeah, look at that.
Oh, come on. It's a good call.
It was a
He
great
had played
call.
one game in
It
his
was
life.
a great call. You were right. You called it.
You want to call that he's going to be the starting corner next year?
Oh, you go ahead with that. The number one pick. I just want to see him on the field more. And I think however they do it, it doesn't mean Trey's got to come off the field all the time. It just means get him out there, more and more snaps, and we'll see how he does.
And I have a hard time believing he's 100%. Still has a small brace on. Like to think that what this is, scratching the surface, like still going through some of these rookie like mistakes and things like
moments.
that is crazy to think what he could be, because we haven't seen moments like this from a young corner. That was a first round pick. Obviously the Kyer thing didn't work out. You had this was special to see some of these moments.
He is a kid. I see him in the locker room, and he's like very excited. Game's over, and he's going to the podium. So he's like, I heard him. He's like, okay, do I have time to take a shower first? I'm going to do this. Getting him ready.
Very
He's sort of
sweet.
like jumping across the room. And he should be excited. My God, he went through a lot with that knee injury, and to work his way back, and then to get this on this. This is as big a regular season stage as you're going to get.
Yeah.
This
First-
kind of game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
And this
So,
was his first time being out on the field.
Orchard Park,
In
yeah.
Orchard Park, being active for the game. And you talk about where he's at. and you think of the interception tonight, and there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way,
Yep.
but for him to learn and to be out here and to see some of those high plays that you want to see out of a guy, I think that's exciting to me because, I think the floor can continue to be raised, but having those ceiling moments where you're like, that's a big time play and a big time moment is important.
Patrick Mahomes has played 142 games in the NFL. Today was the first time he completed less than 50% of his passes.
Wow. Really?
That's, first of all, that's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
And the other stat was Mahomes was pressured 52.6% of the time on his dropbacks. That is 14% higher than the pressure rate in the previous 9 matchups with the Chiefs for the Bills.
Blueprint game.
Well, it's also, like we said, credit to McDermott, credit to Babbage, credit to all the position coaches. They had this team ready to go on defense. They're still going to give up plays. It's still Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all those guys that and they'll be around. But this did do some damage to the Chiefs too. So they have a tough schedule, and now they have 4 losses on the season. So
that's big.
Like hand up. Did not think the Bills could do that.
Okay, we were talking about this, you and me, and I was like, are the Chiefs really as good as people think they are? Because they played a beat-up Lions team. They beat the Raiders. Like, they beat the Commanders with Mariota in there. Like, to me, I was like, maybe. As it got closer to kickoff, I was like, the Bills are underdogs. They love that spot. Like, it kind of made more sense as we got closer to kickoff.
I will say this for the Chiefs. I see flashes of what they could be by the end of the year. They also were missing their best offensive lineman at left tackle. Their offensive line got beaten up in this game. When they get it together, whatever that is, obviously they are going to be the most dangerous team because they're the Chiefs and they've done it this many times. But they're at the moment they got punched in the mouth by the Bills today, which was impressive. They lost early in the season a couple of times. They lost that weird game to Jacksonville. But to your point, I thought they were getting a little too much love early, even though I thought they could eventually get there. They got punched today, and the Bills were the ones doing the punching.
Yeah.
I said that the Carolina game taught me nothing. I learned nothing about the Bills' defense because of Andy Dalton, and that learned a lot today about this defense.
Yeah.
Now, again, the Hoyt loss could be huge. No Ed Oliver. Like, those, that's crazy. Like, to start to think some of these losses, the loss of guys, the bad luck that you're having on this defensive line. But I learned some things about this defense today that are encouraging, that Sean McDermott is still a great defensive mind and can still game plan and put a hell of a game together.
What did you learn about the offense?
That maybe you can build a passing game around quick screens to Khalil Shakir and throws to tight ends. Josh was awesome.
He was.
That was Josh Allen. 3 incompletions, 3 total touchdowns. Kincaid was a mismatch today. They ran the ball well, physical offensive line play. We still are looking like here's the other side. Like the 3rd and 10 bubble screen to Shakir that goes for 1 yard. It's like you might as well have ran a draw. Like what that was to me was like we still don't have that, but what Kincaid had, what Cook is able to do consistently, I thought Joe Brady coached a hell of a game. In-game managing, like the play calling, I thought was phenomenal.
We've seen the Bills' offense do this before. The issue for later is those plays. So the trade deadline is Tuesday. I still would like to see a pass catcher come this way. I know they need D tackle. I know they need a pass rusher. I know, they're better at corner now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
safety.
shown. Better at safety and better at corner. I would go get somebody on offense and try to help them. Because when you need that play, it might be that one play or that 2 plays. That's what would unlock this offense. It's not about the total. When he talked about the 30 points a game last year, that was great. It's about the moments when you need a guy to make the play. And by the way, Jamar Chase is really upset in Cincinnati. I saw he was upset today. You going to throw a few first-round picks to them?
5 first-round picks.
I'm kidding.
I
But
know.
there are players out there.
So was I.
And see. But to your point, Brady was back. There was nothing cute about the offense in this one.
Nope.
The only thing that was cute, though, was the bubble screen to Shakir on 3rd and 10.
We're
To
nitpicking.
me,
Nitpicking.
Yeah, I agree. You asked me. I gave an answer. But overall today, it was a really nice bounce-back effort.
Physical. physical. We talked to Saibo, I did in the locker room, and he was like, that's the way we got to play. And he said we were that way on both sides of the ball. They were the more physical team, no doubt.
Yeah, and Josh Allen. It was nice to see Josh looking like the Josh Allen that we've known him to be in Orchard Park. He said after the game that he felt early on that he was what he calls slotted, meaning he was in the zone, but you could tell that he had the confidence, and hopefully that can kind of spur something for him because we know the player he can be.
I thought they ran the ball effectively on first down, which gave them second and manageable and third and manageable. There were a couple of times that I'm sure you at home were kind of screaming, take a shot here. But they stayed with it. They stayed with their plan to be physical. Josh said, this is who we are. It's a lot of James Cook, and you sprinkle in other things around him and other guys getting open. Again, November 2nd, awesome.
Right.
Where can this go? Where's their ceiling? They've raised their floor when Josh plays like this.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's a really good floor anytime you have Josh Allen out there, but it's where does it need to be in those biggest moments? Like if there's still a 3rd and 14.
Yeah, obvious passing situations is where I think there's the concern of do you have the guy to get it out there for? So
it's funny. All the MVP odds were out, and Josh was still in the top 3, 2 or 3. And to be honest with you, I didn't feel like that was really warranted. He moved himself right back in there.
Yep.
This is beating Kansas City. He was in total control, and he's still Josh Allen. I meant his numbers weren't really there. The team wasn't looking great at the moment. They're still in second place. He played like the MVP in this one.
do the Bills have a concern at kicker? Prater missed today, the long one, the calf. Bass is obviously on IR.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great for Bass.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You hearing that? But I mean, they could be in the market though too. You see what that guy in Jacksonville do? 68-yard field goal.
68-yard field
I mean,
goal.
that's absurd. The ability you have for some guys. I don't think that's Matt Prater. By the way, at the end of the game, I was with McDermott on that. Maybe some of you thought differently. They ran it. They got the clock down. At that point, 35-yard line, he said they would have either just gone for it.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could throw the ball. It's 4th down. You would just not want to turn it over. But if you don't make it, you're turning it over, and the clock's going to stop anyhow. I thought the field goal was the right call, and it hits the upright.
Yeah.
And then you had to guard against the Hail Mary passes at the end. But it'd be nice. You want to see your kicker make that one.
They threw a pass to James Cook.
And
They had been
huge.
waiting. They had been waiting all season long for a play action roll. Josh, a ton of play action today. Really good. Dalton Kincaid was wide open.
Yeah.
And that's where I give Brady a lot of credit. That is just scheming guys open. I was very impressed.
And Elijah Moore.
Yes.
Nice
Big
catch.
catch.
Took a hit.
Yeah.
That was a big catch.
That
They
was
had-
a big catch.
They got Shakir open down the field, and then right after that, Elijah Moore. And then Bean's like, don't call me. I'm not trading for any wide receivers. I got my guys. We're getting downfield.
And they ran the read option on a 3rd down. Josh took it and run perfectly.
He made the
executed.
right call.
Yes,
It
he
was
did.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked to see
Yeah,
that.
that was good.
Again, that's where it felt like this was Joe Brady dialed up, was pressing all the right buttons. Is where it felt like chess over checkers. They had big guys on the field. Dawson Knox getting in the passing game. That is where the Bills have the advantage, is with their bigger players and still being able to throw the ball.
And you talk coaching-wise, that's against Andy Reid and Steve
Spags.
Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
So 2 of the best of all time at what they do. And it was good. It was very impressive. And yes, we know next time, playoffs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That is all true. They know that. But right now, I asked Sean about it. He's like, hey, we move ahead. We put it aside. It's Miami next week, and we go down there.
So the Bills 6-2.
Yep.
They head down to Miami next.
New England held on.
Yeah.
Drake May was good, very good.
Yeah.
They almost blew it. Atlanta missed an extra point and then had a chance. But,
Yeah.
hey, they held on to one. That's just get a win and go and move on. They've looked good. So
Yeah.
still chasing.
Anything else, Daniel?
The double spike was cool. I tweeted about it. Josh on his 2nd rushing touchdown, where he has the most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in NFL history. He passed Cam Newton. He handed the ball off to Spencer Brown. Perfect spike. Landed right back in Josh's hand. Josh got to do a
course.
spike.
That's pretty cool. The football gods approved.
Yes.
Pittsford Pub in Rochester.
Yes.
We will be there Thursday.
Yes.
This will
Good
be
call,
upbeat.
Michael.
We'll be at the pub. It was a lot of fun this past week. And
Come out.
come out and see us. We'll have a
Oh.
lot of fun.
Shout out RJ.
Yes.
Big time commenter. We appreciate
Yes.
it. Met
He
him
and
and his son.
who were both there. They were awesome. He came up.
very cool.
That was good to see them.
And
So
our friends from Alaska were right over
Yes.
there.
Right
It was
over there.
great that they got a win.
Wearing the Buffalo Plus hat,
I
too.
have a shot
That's
of it.
really,
well
that's
done.
very sweet.
Well done.
And a red, white, and blue beard.
Yeah.
I think we got a picture. I think they sent us a picture, so we'll take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. Thank you so much for joining us here on Buffalo Plus. Mike is throwing stuff. Please
That's
be
it.
sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We will catch you next time here. For Mike and Dan, I am Jenna. Thank you for watching Buffalo Plus.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast.